Hello, wonderful viewers. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your support so far. Thank you for being here with us. And more so for wanting our government to work and expecting and believing that Africa will change. I believe so with you. And it's going to do in our lifetime, in our time. We have grown longing to see a country that works, a continent that flourishes. Our government has been challenged with a lot, and those of us who are conscious to some extent are expecting things to be different, expecting that there be changes. And as the day passes, so many things come to us that break our hearts, that make us feel like it's a dream that might not come through. But I want to encourage you and tell you that it is darkest before the dawn. It is always darkest before the dawn. I want to talk about the Kenneth Okonkwo situation with the Labour Party and Peter Obi. You know, when that news came, if I tell you that I wasn't heartbroken, it's a big lie. I was heartbroken because Kenneth Okonkwo is somebody who is assertive, who has kind of asserted himself into our hearts, into our lives. That when the news came that he's leaving Peter Obi, and with the following statements, with the statements that followed, I was heartbroken. It looked like there is one thing that manipulates these people and makes them speak against the same thing they have supported in a certain way. So, but I think there is still hope. There is still hope.
I simply do not agree with the way he does things. Let me tell you the advice I give to my younger ones. I say, look, in this world, if you become too bitter, people will spew you out. If you become too sweet, people will lick you up. You have to find a way to be bittersweet. Now, Peter Obi is a man who wants to be too sweet for everybody. He is a man who wants to appear too sweet for everybody. And that is why they are licking him up. Because when a sweet thing is in your mouth, you lick it up.
So it's too much of a Mr. Nice. And the Mr. Nice is not the way to go in politics.
In my own definition, yes.
There are those who say that is what we are talking about.
Yes.
The incapacity of Peter Obi to be able to take strong decisions, in politically speaking,
yes,
might dovetail into governance also. He should become a president. This kind of problem might occur. Are you worried about that kind of temperament that you're complaining about?
That is exactly why I said I am no longer speak for him. And the reason is simple. In Nigeria, I can assure you, except something happens, there will be no free and fair election because our electoral jurisprudence has been overthrown. It is dead. So when you're dealing with incompetent and corrupt people, Mr. Nice will no longer be enough because they will never again do a free and fair election. So if you want to contest, it is not enough that people give you the vote.
Now, what I see between Peter Obi and Kenneth Okonkwo is that these people have leadership potentials, but they also have different temperaments. You know one thing about people, we are all born different with different temperaments. He said that some people are choleric, some are phlegmatic, some are sanguines, and some are a mixture of all these temperaments. I may not have mentioned a lot of them. These temperaments also reflect in their leadership styles, in the way they present themselves. So when you say somebody is outgoing, outspoken, it's a reflection of his temperament. And this is play when we come into the leadership field. So between these two people, I see people who are born leaders. If you ask me, these two people have leadership potentials. They are born leaders. And when you put two leaders together, the tendencies will keep creeping up that each would want to assert themselves. So what I see between Kenneth Okonkwo and Peter Obi is just that clash in personality. Does it make it all bad? No. If you ask me, I listened to Kenneth Okonkwo. I took time to listen to him after the whole incident. I see where he's coming from. I also listened to Aisha Yesufu when the whole thing happened, where she made certain statements. Even the comments that are all over social media is not something I think that wise people should put up. Many people have started casting him, lambasting him. A lot of people are saying different things, and it's not helping matters. So Aisha Yesufu said, we will not act the same way we want to, we cannot behave in the same manner of things that we want to change. Like you want to change things, you want things to run the normal way, you want things to be okay, and you still want to do what the person you said is not doing it right is doing. You want to also go through the back door. She has a point, but I don't think that that's exactly what is playing out here, because she had said that she called Kenneth Okonkwo and he said certain things. It's good to have a mind of our own, but it's also good not to push limits sometimes. So for me, what I think is really not that Kenneth would want to break the laws, break some values, or change values or value pattern or standards simply because he wants to get to solutions. I feel that he is talking about asserting your rights, asserting your personality, as in taking charge of certain things, which I also feel is needed if you want to get results. That doesn't necessarily mean breaking the rules or going through the back door. So there's no cause for alarm, it's just personality difference. Truly, Aisha Yusufu is correct that you cannot do the same thing you are condemning by going through the back doors, but I don't think that that's actually what applied in this situation. If you also look at the Obi situation, or Obi as a person, he is also constrained in so many ways. The Obi and the Igbo syndrome is also another challenge in a Nigeria that doesn't want to hear an Igbo person command respect, command following, command leadership, command people who believe in him and are as massive as those supporting Peter Obi. And then with that stigma of an Igbo trying to do what they're accusing the Igbos of wanting to do, Peter Obi is also being careful. He's also being careful. But if you ask me, that's why I say we're all different. If I'm the one, I will not be careful the way he's being careful. And probably Kenneth Okonkwo too won't be careful the way he is being careful. Carefulness does not mean that you are not going to take your rightful place. It doesn't mean that you are not going to do the things you are supposed to do. I think Kenneth Okonkwo is angry in certain sense where he feels that Peter Obi should take charge. But if you also ask me, the question is if you should be taking charge. Are you by law or legally or by responsibility expected to step into the shoes Kenneth Okonkwo is expecting Peter Obi to step into?
And Peter Obi will still be saying, oh, calm down, let us calm down. And Kenneth Okonkwo will say, punish these people. Because if you don't punish them, anarchy will come in.
Peter Obi is a qualified leader who happened to be someone of the Igbo extraction. So the question is if it's a crime to be Igbo. If it's not a crime, then let him take his rightful place and do the necessary things. I think the point Kenneth Okonkwo is making is that feeling like we watch things and things will fall in place. It doesn't happen. Things don't just fall in place. People put them in places. I think that's the point Kenneth is making and is misinterpreted. But you know, the timing of the incident, the time when the thing is happening is an issue. It's happening at the time Labour Party is in tatters and reels. It's also happening at a time where so much is expected of the new movement that is expected to bet the change, the needed change most Nigerians are expecting. It's also happening at a time where a protest is foretold. At a time where people are expecting to hit the streets demanding good governance. At a time when people are looking up to these leaders, spokespeople, to see what comes from them, looking for voices that are encouraging, looking for voices that are supportive, voices that are affirmative, voices that are direction, taking the lead, and something like that happens. You imagine how content creators, angry people, opposition is going to take advantage of it. And you know one thing, a lot of things are on social media and people are not aware of the enormity of the results of their action, their statements, what they post and what they say. Many people are just content creators. They are not really concerned about the extent to which what they post will make. So for people who are just looking for views and followership, every news is news. Every news has to be given colorations to get the needed likes. So for such situation, it's a big news that can make headlines. So it's going to get different captions, it's going to get different colorations, it's going to get different pushings so that it will yield the results for creators. And then for the opposition, they are looking for things to discredit a man who has who happened to be a very strong opposition to them, a man who happened to be a nightmare, a problem, and the opportunity presents itself. You're going to see the headlines. Have you seen the headline in TVC? Have you seen the headline in some other stations that are really wanting such news or fronting for the opposition? So the headlines are going to keep rolling in the most bizarre forms and the forms you may not like it. But for me, when I see those headlines, I try to see the real message behind it. I don't get carried away, and so should you not. Our role, the content we give it, the colorations we give it is what it's going to take. If you also ask me, I think personally that the timing is a wrong time for Kenneth Okonkwo to have taken such step, if you ask me. I think also his choice of words betrayed him as well. But thank God he has come to give clarifications. That he never left Labour Party. He's only asking to consolidate Labour Party. He has also said that he still has a lot of respect for Peter Obi, only that they have different ways of asserting their leadership potentials, which I don't see as a problem.
I've never had any personal grudge or disagreement with my principal.
Which is Mr. Peter Obi.
Absolutely. Indeed, I love and cherish him. And not just that I've never had any personal disagreement. I will never have any personal disagreement. Why? Because I've never made any personal demand from him.
One thing is the point he made when he said that he needed to own his statement, and that's why he put it out in writing so that he won't be misquoted. He can always pull it up and people can always read what he said, because people can misquote you. If you also ask me in the whole situation, I feel that Kenneth Okonkwo has all the right to make his decisions. Because there is one thing, he has shown also that he's not sheepishly following. And that's something I will encourage people to do. Don't follow sheepishly. You may like someone, his leadership style, or you may. We are not supposed to be people who cannot juggle our minds, who cannot let go, no matter how attached we are to something. That is why I also put it to Peter Obi. As much as people love you, as much as they are before you, you have to stay relevant. If you lose relevance, just like it might be looking that in the days coming, if you don't take decisive steps, you're going to lose relevance. If you lose relevance, the people will quickly switch to a more recent and relevant person. So, this life is a battlefield. How you present your strategies or the strategies you choose is very important. So, I see Kenneth Okonkwo as somebody who is not following sheepishly, because I can also see in him that he has ambitions. That ability not to follow sheepishly helps you make decisions without people thinking that you have done the wrong thing. I am not fronting for him or for anybody. I love both of them. They are great people. But I am trying to say that in the whole situation, it will be important to understand them from their own point of view, understand Peter Obi, understand Kenneth, and have a mind of your own, even. So that you don't start saying this person is wrong, he's right, I'm following this, I'm following that person. Peter Obi is somebody we have seen to have the leadership potentials we desire. That's restraint also, the meticulousness, and that ability to soak in a lot of things is also needed to be able to begin to untangle a ruffled Nigeria, the kind of country we see. Kenneth Okonkwo also has a point where he's saying that if you pamper these two people, if you get too sweet, they'll lick you up. If you pamper these people and you don't assert your person to take your place where you need to, they will keep riding you, which is the same ride they took Nigerians for during the 2023 presidential elections. When in the middle of the night an election result was declared and nobody shouted, nobody will let the INEC official to say, no, we cannot take this, we cannot take this, it is not the standard. And nobody also took to the street to say, even before we get to the judiciary, the court, we have to begin the discussions here. So those are the issues. If you are right and you watch people desecrate the laws, those things they do and get away with them becomes the new set of laws. So the citizens have a right to play, to hold these people accountable, responsible all the way, all the step of the way, so that They won't be getting away with certain things and feeling that they are right. Because a lie told repeatedly becomes a lie. Sorry, becomes a truth. When a lie is told repeatedly, becomes the truth. So, in my description of Kenneth Okonkwo and the situation, I would say that it's still good for him to have a mind of his own. You know, it is difficult to speak for people when you don't have the same value with them. It's really difficult to defend someone who you don't have the same belief pattern, the same convictions with, or the same methods of doing things. You're always in the tight corner struggling to speak for those people. And I think it's because of that that he is saying that I can no longer be speaking for Peter Obi.
And I don't know what Kenneth is trying to achieve, but I don't think Kenneth is in a very good position to make utterances about Peter, his profile, his direction, his wisdom, his capacity, his strength. And Kenneth is nowhere in position to make all those things. And I'll tell you my reason. Kenneth has not won any election in Nigeria. He's my colleague. He's an actor lawyer. I'm an actor engineer. Yeah? He never won any election before. Peter Obi has won election twice. He was two-time governor of Anambra State.
And he went to court.
Yeah? He has survived trials and tribulations to the electoral process. Take the impeachment. He got court, winning mandate back. If not fight, the guy has shown fight. The guy went into a race 8 months before time and was able to put up a fight for the first time. Any candidate who does not belong to a major party won Abuja and Lagos. The 2 seats of government of action in Nigeria. He won it. There has never been a president that has been president without winning those 2 places. He won those 2 places. To show how his spread is. Abuja is northern part. Lagos is western part. You understand what I'm saying? He took those 2 states that INEC cannot deny. You get? So the man has proved himself as a fighter, as a people mobilizer, as a person with integrity, as a person where you fit say, I go stand behind you, whether money day or money don't. So you don't get anything to prove to Kenneth. Kenneth never even win one election. When they can't go court main defender successfully. You understand what I'm saying? So you to say the man lacks the, you cannot say that. I know Peter personally. You know, he was at my 50th birthday. He was one of my guests at my 50th birthday. He's a strong man. Forget his soft voice. You understand? He's a man that is equal to other men. But when you approach Nigerian politics, you approach with wisdom. And history will tell you that people have gone. Bola Ige died here. Till tomorrow, Nigerian state never find who. Harry Marshall died in River State. Till today, we see the talk story. Yeah? The one where they named this street after him here. No. Push Williams.
Williams. Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
He died in Lagos State here. We see the talk story. You understand what I'm saying? You will never add Peter to the list. If I be Peter, if Peter even tries, see that Peter sit there around. If I go there somewhere, I do the take breeze. Can we just move?
So, like I said, it's difficult to speak for people that you don't have the same convictions with.
You see, when you differ temperamentally with your guy and it's affecting fundamentally your relationship, then you would have to give way. Nothing personal.
It's not necessarily bad convictions. You disagree on methods, you disagree on a lot of things, and you are also speaking for those people. You are boxed up. It's difficult. You could be pretending. But when people are talking from the place of conviction, you will discover that they are also able to convince the next person or the person they are speaking to, and also able to project the person they are speaking for in a very positive and realistic light. So Kenneth Okonkwo is someone we have come to love, but he has to move on with his life and make his decisions. If he decides not to speak further for Peter Obi, fine and good. There are lots of people who can speak for Obi and even get better results. Moreover, they are still in the same party. Maybe Kenneth Okonkwo also is taking advantage of the opportunity where a protest is imminent to be able to assert himself during the protests so that they won't say Peter Obi sent him. All these are things I also feel because I have questioned the timing and why it should be at this critical point when a protest is imminent, when the people are looking for direction. Another question is, how would Obi have reacted in disciplining or handling Julius Abure? Considering the timing too, because I've questioned why now when a protest is imminent. It could also be a way of Kenneth Okonkwo being able to assert himself and have a way to speak for himself at a time when this protest is imminent, such that he won't be said to have been sent by Peter Obi and all that. All these are strategies that I'm considering a possibility. I've asked also how Peter Obi would have disciplined Abure. The party has that responsibility, and Peter Obi has been argued, not even though a strong member of the party cannot be said to be the leader of the party at this moment, especially having not occupied the highest seat in the land. If he was a president or became a president, he will be said to be the #1 citizen and the leader of the Labour Party. At a point when he doesn't occupy the seat as a leader of the party, does he have the ability to discipline anybody except for the working committee of the party? I must also register my disagreement with Kenneth Okonkwo when he says the obedient should join Labour Party to make it formidable. He can count on the support of the obedience movement if they get their house in order. But to say to add the obedience movement to the Labour Party, I do not subscribe to that, especially for the fact that there are many people who are not members of the Labour Party, who are members of other political parties, who are only supporting the ideal candidates in Peter Obi. And also the fact that that organic movement that has remained vague is useful in not allowing opposition infiltrate them or start witch hunting key members of the movement or compromising the party or the movement through some elements. The beauty of that movement is in its intangibility, such that the corrupt system we have cannot infiltrate it. So I sincerely disagree with Kenneth Okonkwo. He has nothing to fear. If Labour Party gets themselves in order, they will heavily have the support of the obedience movement. And perhaps if they don't, and we find credible people elsewhere, though not the present PDP or the present APC, but we'll find credible people elsewhere that are living up to the expectations of well-meaning Nigerians, the obedient movement will support them. That is why they are not a political party. They are a group of people who are looking for good governance and are ready to support its birth. Now, I also want to say that it will be very wrong of the parties involved to go about castigating each other. It will be very wrong for Kenneth Okonkwo to go about castigating Peter Obi, nor Peter Obi go about castigating Kenneth Okonkwo, nor the obedient movement go about castigating any of these parties. The best thing to do is to keep mum. He has made the first major statement which people are looking up to, and I think he should stop there. Let him not go about being inconsequential like some other people who have been in other parties or spokespeople to other people and switches grounds. You have the right to switch grounds, but I don't think it's wise to run your mouth when you do so, just to get validity. People's validity don't come from discrediting others. It comes from staying credible themselves wherever they find themselves. So the advice I'm going to give both parties is to support each other whichever way they can while being themselves in their God-given abilities and calls, and push for a greater Nigeria. Actually, respecting one another is the maturity that Nigerians will see and keep looking up to you guys as leaders. If you also ask me, there is an aspect of this that is also looking like a twist. It's looking like at this point we two have to separate for a better tomorrow. There are things we don't foresee. There are speculations politicians also make that we, the ordinary people that are not in their parties and faced with the same conditions, do not understand, that we might understand with time. And again, I see that Kenneth Okonkwo has ambitions, like I said earlier. If you box yourself in a certain position, you will be limited. The elections are over. You cannot continue being someone's PA, especially when the person is not presently occupying any political position for someone like Kenneth, who also has the ambition to grow his political career. So he has also said that he will stay in the Labour Party and helping to consolidate the party, meaning that he wants to help build the party to become what it should be. And that also gives Peter Obi the opportunity to flex or add a little bit of flirtiness in it to be able to choose, not flirtiness this time around, add a little bit of flexibility and choices to be able to choose if he stays in Labour Party or goes elsewhere. And even to also contest in the same Labour Party. So, nothing spoil. Like we used to say in our local parlance, nothing spoil. So I will appeal to people, to everyone who mean well for Nigeria, because I know we are all coming from the place of concern where we feel like the people we are fronting are having issues. No, growth comes with these challenges. When you keep an open mind, you will not be swept off your feet when these things happen. I am not moved. I feel that with time, there will still be a way. For me now, it is for Labour Party to fix itself and Peter Obi to find a formidable platform, whether Labour Party or any other alternative that I don't think will be the present APC or the present PDP, to still be able to achieve that his declaration that he's not desperate to be president of Nigeria, but desperate to see Nigeria work. We are all desperate to see Nigeria work in our own time and a short time from now, and it is doable. Encourage yourself and do what you have to do. Until all these problems are solved, keep being the nice and willing, well-meaning Nigerian you are. Thank you for listening. Ciao.